Anger. Cause. A disagreement against your expectation or preference. Solution. Since anger is a very destructive emotion that leads to things we often regret, and is capable of harming yourself just as much as anger's victim, we have to learn how to mitigate it. Anger seems to be more of a modern issue. One, since we are used to having things our way, meaning we are more pampered than our ancient ancestors, and two, we live in a space with thousands of others with differing preferences, and this leads to inevitable clashing. Since anger is caused by a disagreement with something or a situation, instead of disagreeing, we must learn to agree with it instead. We must learn to accept things rather than have anger try to make everything the way you want it. Life will never be to your exact preference, and anger is the expectation of this. So, it's very simple. Stop disagreeing and start agreeing. This is a benefit to yourself and others. Fear. Cause. Over-attachment to your life. Ignorance. Solution. When you are in a forest in the day, everything is beautiful and wonderful, but when the sun goes down, everything becomes cloaked in darkness, and fear and paranoia sets in. Why is this? Because light reveals what was previously hidden, and this sight corresponds to knowing, from which you feel comfortable, and darkness, not being able to see, corresponds to not knowing, ignorance, and not knowing is the foundation of fear. So when you fear for your life. But if you were armed with certain knowing, you would not have fear. What is this knowing? Well, since all fear is the fear for your life, if you come to not fear death, through knowing, all fear will leave you, knowing the truth of death, that there is no death, only infinite beginnings. Once you realize this, you will achieve a catharsis, and what terrorizes many will be but a pinch to you. So get to know death, or get to know what you fear, as the only way past fear is through its exposure. Expose it through knowing. Sadness. Cause. The loss of something you cared for or had attachment to. Solution. If sadness is created by caring, and caring creates attachment, and sadness is the divorce of that attachment, then the only way past sadness is non-attachment and not caring. We must understand that the design of life follows the constant flow of marriage and divorce, and will eternally to maintain motion. It takes years of mental conditioning to not be a victim to sadness, because sadness is inevitable, meaning the divorce of things is inevitable. But we must understand that it can only exist within us. We can either deal with sadness the natural way, or we can integrate a mental approach of non-attachment and never know of sadness. How you deal with it is up to you. I'm not saying to not care about your loved ones. I'm just telling you the only way past sadness, if you choose to take that route. Many don't. Just know that non-attachment is one step on the way to nirvana. Life is full of suffering, but there are intelligent ways to escape them. We must let things go, let things flow, stop holding on, and surrender to life, and ride its river to its end. Jealousy. Cause. Possessiveness, materialism, lack of self-fulfillment or development. I gave an individual solution for both jealousy caused by comparison and jealousy in a relationship. Jealousy created by comparison. Solution. If you were to follow your soul to its blossoming, you should never want to be anyone else or in a position of anyone else, or want what another has that you don't. Never compare your life to another. Why are you watching the lives of others when you should be living your own life? What purpose is your individuality if you spend it watching the lives of others? I think jealousy reveals your lack of connection with yourself and your lack of attention to your own self-fulfillment. By paying attention to the lives of others, it goes to show how little you pay attention to your own. Everyone has their own unique experience to fulfill in this incarnation. Fulfill it, follow it, live it. Jealousy in a relationship. Solution. Just like a valuable possession, you will do all you can to make it yours and keep it from others. In this way, you suffocate the other, believing that they belong to you. If you truly cared for the other, you would let them be to their desires and their happiness, even if that means them finding someone new if the compatibility between you has crumbled. Love yourself before you love another. That way you do not rely on another to complete you, and jealousy or possessiveness cannot exist, because you can never feel like you're at risk of losing something when you always have all you need. When you first love yourself, you allow the other to have space to blossom, and this will only strengthen a relationship, but jealousy will destroy it swiftly, because jealousy is simply a reaction of self-emptiness and reliance on something for happiness, much like materialism. Depression. Cause. Your roots are in the wrong soil, meaning you are in an environment that does not provide the correct nutrients for you to thrive. Solution. I believe depression is mostly a modern dilemma. In no other time has the range of human uniqueness been funneled and trapped into repetitiveness, monotony, burden, and attachment from which they cannot escape. Our ancestors, who lived perfect balance, regulated by natural law, who had such a rich experience of life, did not know depression, at least caused by environmental conditions. Depression is like a sick plant from poisoned soil. In our case, poisoned soil is negativity, hostility, monotony, stress or burnout, noise, pollution, etc. Correspond a plant and its soil to a human and his environment. What is he being fed? Is it ideal or not for him? Is his soil a good match for his blossoming? Just like a plant prefers a certain type of soil that another does not like, so too does man. But the unique range of human personality is all given the same soil, which many grow sick in. So how can we solve depression if we cannot escape our environment that causes it? A temporary fix is mindfulness, but the real fix is changing the environment. And this is done by uniting the people against society and crowning nature as our king again. Anxiety. Cause. Not living in the present moment, but in thoughts which you do not agree with, or bringing up past trauma that causes an anticipated reoccurrence. Solution. Anxiety is something that has been conditioned to bother you. So to overcome anxiety, you must slowly expose yourself to that which torments you so that you may come to accept it. The only way past fear and anxiety is through their exposure. You must shake hands with it, come to accept it, so that instead of it possessing your focus upon it, you let the thought move on, now that it does not bother you. This is what psychedelics do, and why they are so beneficial to healing neurosis. They bring up to your attention the darkness that has accumulated inside of you and bring you through the process of accepting that darkness by shining a conscious light on it, which is a painful process. Learning how to live in the moment also assists in neutralizing anxiety. Boredom. Cause. You don't have a fast car. Solution, buy a fast car. Just kidding. Cause: you have fallen from balance and outside the intended parameters of life. A modern dilemma from leaving nature. Solution: the cure for boredom is very evident. Just do things. But boredom like we experience today was not known to those who lived under nature's rule. Boredom is not having balance in life, and society causes this imbalance, while nature distributed it evenly. So ultimately, the cause of boredom is leaving nature, and the solution is returning to it. And I'll leave it at that. Loneliness. Cause: relying on others to keep you full, a lack of self-interest or love. Solution: it's good to have companions and friends. I will not say otherwise. But even companions will not keep your cup full. You must find another way of reliability for feeling content and satisfied. For me, I have not seen a friend for months, yet I do not feel lonely. Why? Because I have something indispensable: spirit, and also myself. I love who I am, and so I love being with myself more than others. So I think loneliness can be attributed to a lack of loving oneself and attention given to oneself. You may think that loneliness is a lack of connection to others, but in fact, I believe it is a lack of connection to oneself and life, because these seem to provide reliability, unlike friends which can come and go. Guilt, shame. Cause: when a person aligned with their conscience feels they have done something that is against their self-image. Solution: only those who are open to improving themselves feel guilt or shame, often the religious or spiritual. One who is true to their instinctive nature, meaning the only way is their way, feels no guilt or shame in their actions because they are not aligned with their conscience or perhaps don't have one. But those who keep an ear open to the mind and life feel this way when they have committed an act that the soul or mind dictates is not an accurate reflection of itself. And so this emotion is a process of development and correction to those that feel it. Guilt is a painful emotion. All you can do is learn from it. Do not let your misjudgment get the best of you. You're human after all. Let it do what it's supposed to do, motivate you to change, so that it does not happen again, and move on with the improvement of yourself. We all make mistakes, and since we cannot predict all outcomes before they happen, making mistakes is a big part of our learning. So do not see guilt as punishment, even though it is, but it is only that way so that it may motivate change. Stress. Cause: pain, pressure, and change. Solution: stress, meaning external pressure, can only affect you if you let it in. When there is a storm outside of you, seek solitude and inner silence, and let it pass. You stress because you hang on and attach yourself to whatever is causing stress, so unattach yourself from it mentally. Do not let the outer chaos affect your inner stability and peace. In other words, if something stresses or bothers you, it's because you have let it in. It's no different if you're offended by something or the words of someone. You made yourself offended. Close the doors on external disturbance through mental conditioning. You cannot remove stress from life, but you can remove it from yourself. This takes a great deal of time to build a defense around yourself. Work on it. Learn to be calm in all situations. Hold on to a high ideal while in a stressful event, and this will help mitigate it, such as the truth that we are eternal in nature, and such an example will help tone down the storm outside of you. Embarrassment. Cause: embarrassment is like guilt or shame, except of you bashing yourself, you let others bash you with this feeling because your behavior or actions did not meet their expectations or preferences. You did not tailor yourself to societal norms and beat yourself up for doing so, or for not doing so. Solution: stop caring. The ones who mock or ridicule or judge are the ones with the problems, because they have been molded by a cookie cutter and conform to the majority's traditions, blending with them and having no sense of individuality or self. They cannot think for themselves, so they let others do that for them. It's good to be different, otherwise there is no point in your individuality. So do not let the judgment of others bother you. Never feel embarrassed. We are human. As much as we try to cover it up, we stink, we are dirty, we have imperfections, we have problems. So never feel embarrassed about what you cannot control.